sometimes there can just be a deviation where the leg can just coast a little bit. But he's coasting in the contest, and he's 2-1 up in the match. And from 1-0 down, Thornton's turned this tie around.
Not to see a really big game as Burnett looks at 8-8.
2 fours for 2-2. There we go, the distance in this opening match of the session.
But he's left a 2 darter. If he returns, he may not return. It's tops for Thornton.
91.
Thornton spurred his chance to win the game. What can Burnett make of his? 75 is what he's looking at to pinch this game, you'd say, on the balance of play. And he's going to get 2 in his hand at double 12. And Burnett only needs the 1. And he gets the better of Robert Thornton by 3 legs to 2. Coming back from behind to win that match. It was hard work for the Welshman as he has another conversation with his favourite speaker. I suppose it's because it doesn't talk back, does it? Now having a discussion about what happened in that game with the referee Owen Binks. So what did happen was Burnett came back from 2-1 down to win 3-2.
I think this is where Andreas Harrison comes into his own. We talked about how cool and calm he is in these situations. Well, this double four's big. That's what he does. It's a nod of the head from Henry Deegan. It's a nod of the head from Glenn Durrant as well.
Under required 20.
But it's all been about the super sweet. He's been cool. He's been calm and he's been collected, and it's 2 points for Andreas Harrison. Just reminiscent of the way he started the day yesterday. He puts himself in a fantastic position now on 8 points, joins Robert Thornton at the top, exactly the way that Andreas Harris wanted to start the day. Some really good numbers throughout this game, but the stat that stands out for me there, Andreas Harrison has won 3-0.
Just be the solitary dart to the bullseye. Middle of the diddle. Does not solve the riddle for Scotty Doggett. So Henderson will return for 64. Another chance to get that breaker throw in leg 1.
Yeah, these are the types of finishers that he needs to go. These weren't going in yesterday, but today is a different day. John Henderson leads.
John Henderson.
1 leg to 0.
Leaving himself on 85. And so Mitchell to stay in the match. 2 at tops. Now double 10. 2 more misses, and that could be that.
It could be. 85. We've talked about how good the finishing has been. Scott Mitchell had his chance there. John Henderson has got a match dart. It's at the bullseye. And what a way to finish, and what a way to get your first 2 points. John Henderson come into the building today and promised that it'd be so much better. And it's fantastic to see that smile from Scott Mitchell there. He's been an absolute credit. A little frustration will be there for Scott, knowing he's walked into John Henderson at his best. We've seen some fantastic stories in the Motor Super Series. Could it be the fact that John Henderson does a roles reversal yesterday and goes through the car? But just look at the checkout ratio.
He might not be safe any longer. Tots of Thornton. To take a leg he had no right to win.
Yeah, it's been a tight affair, hasn't it? Robert Thornton lost his opening game of the day 3-2. Exactly the same scoreline. It's a shake of the head there for Neil Duff, and then the realisation that that could be a very, very important 2 points for that man. It's a shake of the head, but he'd be absolutely delighted to get his revenge from yesterday. But for Robert Thornton, top of the table overnight, he's now played 2 and lost 2, and the finishing has been great today, but the 2 from 10 there from Robert Thornton. He did have the real highlight of the 1-1-8 finish, but Neil Duff, he gets his first 2 points of the day, and this group is getting tighter and tighter. Well, it feels like it's a bottom of the table clash, because next up it's Richie Burnett against John Henderson next.
So Burnett handed another chance. And it's a chance he cannot take. And he can't believe it.
John require 40.
He gives it a good old stare down, but it's not going to move where the darts have gone as he frails his arm up in the air in frustration. And he'll be even more frustrated to see John Henderson pin the Tots first time of asking.
Yeah, you can understand the frustration this time for Richie Burnett. He was superb in that leg. And with that situation, as Henry alluded to, where we could have had 5 players going on to 8 points without Richie being at his blisteringly best, John Henderson getting the opportunities he didn't have yesterday.
36.
Well, Henderson with the perfect start to leg 2, and he's continuing that perfect start. Hang about, Hendo.
140.
That would be special, wouldn't it? We call it the special weeks as well. It's double trouble. If we could have got a 9 darter this week. John Henderson, after the day yesterday, we got a message off him this morning saying, "I'll be better today." And boy, is he right.
177.
This is outstanding. A potential 10 darter.
Leaving double 12. Well, the Terminator may have won Champions Week on Saturday, Marvin Van Velzen, but Henderson playing like a Terminator because he's back with a 10 darter and a 2-0 lead. And the Highlander is running red hot here. Well, 106.1 is the average. It's not quite going to be the record for a double star average, but it's going to be very close. It's a record for double trouble, and it's only the 22nd ton plus average in the history of double start darts. John Henderson writing his own history books, running his own records. It's the highest ever we've seen here at double trouble, eclipsing the 100.2 of Daryl Pilgrim last time out. Richie Bennett, well, he was saying his piece about that performance. But for Henderson, a piece of his own history. The record average in a double start event here at the Modus Super Series. It gets him into the top 10 all-time record averages in a double start match. At a ton for a 2-love lead, and he's going to get 2 at tops. He's going to get plenty of time at tops, but he only needs the 1 for what is only the second ton plus checkout of the day. For a 3-0 win, and he's heading down for treble 16. To leave himself double 14, and Mitchell's over the line with a 14 dart. A comprehensive 3-0 win against Andreas Harrison. It puts him onto 8 points, puts him into second.
Does look like a different version of Neil Duff right now, doesn't he? I just think that really tight win over Robert Thornton. He's gone back to the players area. What a difference a sort of a win can go. This is going to be a real cracker of a game. Thanks very much to everyone tuning into our YouTube channel.
57.
And it's nice to see darts for you also in there. I'll give him a little mention because I've just pulled his name out as Neil Duff looks at topsy for the first leg. Looks a different player, doesn't he? We're waxed and lyrical about John Henderson going into this game.
And if he gets it in 2, which he's not going to, he would have broken the all-time double star average.
40.
And now the double trouble average is not going to go unless Henderson takes out this double 4, and it will give Duff another chance to do so.
No score.
Never looked like missing in his previous game. We set this game up all about John Henderson, but Neil Duff is the reigning champion. And once again, looking very, very tidy. Neil Duff goes top of the table. He is the first player to reach 10 points. And for 2 3/4 parts of that leg, that was record-breaking territory. Quickly off the stage. Stellar performance, played with real panache.
If you actually take out that performance from Harrison in Game 6, the standard really has risen over the last few games.
140.
Including a couple of ton plus averages number 22 and 23. Above the 100 in the history of the double-in, double-out format. Bullseye for Thornton. Oh, beautiful. Bang on cue. The Thorn takes out the 1-2-1. It adds to the 118, and he leads 1-0. Double 10 for 10 points. And Thornton returns to the top of the table. He gets the better of Andreas Harrison by 3 legs to 1. Another decent display, another decent contest. And it is the Thorn who wins out. He returns to the summit, level on 10 points of Neil Duff, but with a superior legs difference. That's the tail of the tape. Harrison losing despite the better average.
Personality in the players area. There's a TV in there which shows the in-play table. Scott knows exactly the situation.
180.
But just a little reminder. He leaves the finish also, so a bit of pressure on this 44. Tops has been good for Scott.
Game shown the second leg.
14 darter, 2-0 lead. With Mitchell lurking for another opportunity to take this game out. 2 in hand, a double 10. 5 missed
60.
doubles in this match for Richie Burnett, and that could be curtains.
Yeah, that's
Scott, you require 40.
has been the conclusion for Richie Burnett today. He just can't seem to finish off legs. Scott Mitchell looked determined before the dart was thrown. He lost his opening game 3-0 today, but since then has won his next 2 3-0. He looked determined. He knew the importance of that game. Scott Mitchell joins Neil Duff and Robert Thornton on 10 points. This Group A is competitive, it's exciting, and still very much all to play for. The tail of the tape, Scott Mitchell was averaging around about 80 to 85 throughout. Really professional performance.
Which put him on to 12 points in the
Full flag,
group.
it's John to throw first.
Yeah, that was one of the conversations we had with Scott Mitchell last night, wasn't it? He felt that thrown first hasn't made an awful lot of difference. I think he'll change his mind today because the
106.
the checking in of the players demonstrated there from John and from Robert.
Well,
80.
if you actually look at today's proceedings, if Thornton wins this game, 5 games have gone with throw and 5 games have gone against the throw.
Come on, John.
180.
Special things happen to special players. Having a brilliant day today, John Henderson.
140.
Magical
Jennifer Quire,
moments.
161.
Trouble 17. Bullseye.
Oh,
It was so close
36.
to a moment of majesty and history, to quote the great Dave Lanning.
He lost his first 2 games of the day, Robert Thornton, but he's bounced back fantastically well. Robert Thornton goes top.
Thornton.
We nearly had a sensational moment here at the Motor Super Series on our anniversary here at the Live Lounge. A missed darter bullseye for a 9 darter from John Henderson. Robert Thornton was so supportive, but he got on with the job. He was brilliant in that game and a thoroughly enjoyable match. Both averaging round about the mid-80s throughout there.
And so Mitchell to save the match. 1 dart at tops. But he has to be careful with dart 2. Too careful, too safe. And he's going to miss the opportunity. He may well miss the boat.
40.
Missed opportunity
Neil, you require
for Mitchell.
38.
Neil Duff was playing some sublime stuff that has a decision to make. Does he go direct on the double 19? Of course he does. That's why he's the reigning champion. He loves this format. Good friends, played in good spirit. And Neil Duff is really making a move at the moment. He goes joint top with Robert Thornton. This Group A is just getting more and more exciting. Both players were averaging over 90 for the majority of that game. He'll start in the 19s for that double 8. Gets there in the end, 2 darts at it. Is that too good of a marker? Has to move across the hockey, opens the bed,
Game
kisses
shown
off the dart.
second leg.
And that leads 2
Richie
legs to 0.
Burnett.
And it would put him on to 8 points. It would keep Harrison on 8 points. It would mean a bit of table separation could well be in situ. Double 10 does
25.
not go. And Harrison is reprieved again.
Andreas, you require 40.
Double trouble.
Game shown
No
the
such problem for
fourth leg.
Andreas Harris, but Richie
Andreas
Burnett, when he
Harris.
looks back at this Group A campaign. No fist pump? Yes,
Fifth and
absolutely in
final,
the
it's
end.
Andreas to throw first.
Will it be put in room 101?
1 dart at tops.
81.
Does not transpire for
Richie,
Harrison.
require 66.
Which route 66 will it be for Richie Burnett? Is it the traditional treble 10? Stay straight on the 20. Match dart for Burnett. And hits it in the end. Another tight
Burnett.
affair here at the Motor Super Series. This fascinating Group A continues to give us more questions and answers. For Richie Burnett, he moves on to 8 points and he joins Andreas Harrison. I think the big winner there, though, was the top 3 at the moment. They are beginning to crawl away from the rest of the pack, but great numbers.
Robert,
He may
you
have to
require
take
70.
it with the England captain sat on double 12. He gets a bonus of another one at tops. He finds tops. He finds a win to end his day on 14 points. And that may well be a bitter blow to Scott Mitchell's chances of winning this Group A. The Fawn is in control. Thornton on to 14 points in the group. And at the end of the day, will see himself at the top of the table, regardless of what Neil Duff does against Richie Burnett. That the tale of the tape, a 3-1 win for the Fawn against Scott Mitchell. Coming up after the break, it's Scotland against Sweden as Henderson takes on Harrison.
Is it direct for treble 19? So 84 points here. You had the option of going for the bullseye first, Darter. Give yourself pretty much, but he's gone this way. For that reason, Henderson leads 2-0.
John Henderson.
And in a best of 5, one moment usually changes a match. And that could well be the moment for Henderson. It would mean 3 wins from 5 today. It would possibly end Harrison's hopes. And that is a sumptuous way to end the campaign for John Henderson. A 1:15 checkout, which puts him on to 6 points. His battle tomorrow is going to be to see whether he gets into Group B. But that could be a defeat that pays dividends to Dirty Harry's chances of winning Group A. Statistically, Harrison have the better average by 9 points, but it was those 8 missed darts to end legs that made pay for. Double 10. Up for 5s. Careful, Richie. Careful, man. Looked like he froze in real life for a second.
10.
And he may have frozen at the finishing line.
Neil, we require 141.
Well, we called it in this comms box. It's not over till it's over. He just can't seem to see games out, Burnett. And Duff from absolutely nowhere had a chance. Going to leave himself a 2, Darter. And again, Burnett, it's
10.
over to you.
Burnett's arms are wide open. He's been given another gift by Neil Duff, but he has to take this present. Burnett cannot bag it. It clips off the barrel. And a game which Burnett should have in the palm of his hands may well be in the hands of Neil Duff. Hard to believe, Richie. Hard to believe that this is going to be the outcome when you consider the mismatched darts of Richie Burnett, and then Duff delivers with his last dart at tops. A miraculous win. How Neil Duff's won that, I don't think anybody knows. Least Richie Burnett, who had a multitude of opportunities to cross the finishing line and just could not take them. That the tale of the tape. Duff a 3-2 winner against Richie Burnett.